Today?
Nothing.
Nothing, huh? Oh, man. Alright.
I'm Wendy Gillette. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper is warning residents to stay home as the storm covers the state with snow.
Snow and ice can make the scene outside your window look like a holiday card. But don't move. This storm is treacherous, especially when you try to drive it.
I'm Jim Pursuit in Greensboro, North Carolina. There are a growing number of power outages across the Carolinas. This December storm dumps as much as 2 feet of snow. Energy says as many as 500,000 homes and businesses
So anything?
lose power in North and South
Let's
Carolina.
do some stuff on trust and you can do whatever you're gonna do.
I have Troy calling in. I got a plan.
China says it voiced its displeasure.
I told him to ask 2 questions.
What's Moreno doing for social media? We have 1 week.
Following a U.S. request.
We got no
Chief
sign-ups.
Financial Officer Meng Wanzhou is
We just
accused
decided
of
on
covering up
Friday.
links to a firm that sold equipment to Iran despite sanctions.
We had no
Senator
luck with
Marco
Rosa,
Rubio said on
the
CBS's
phone
Face
calls
the Nation
and the
he
letters.
supports strong actions.
In the Huawei case, they're
I don't know.
here
You talked about it, didn't you?
is violating the Iran sanctions. So
I wasn't in the office.
we should be doing to them what
Yeah.
we
Says you had it
should do to
covered.
them when they violate it.
Yeah, I talked to Lindsay. Lindsay updated the
which included
website.
providing access to American survivors.
The
Did
top
everybody get
Democrat
called,
on the
though?
House Judiciary Committee says
She said she was making the calls, and that's why she couldn't clean up the conference room. So I hope so.
Court documents filed Friday tie the president to a federal crime, allegedly directing the payment of hush money to 2 women alleging affairs during the campaign. New York Representative Jerry Nadler spoke on CNN.
They would be impeachable offenses. Whether they are important enough to justify an impeachment is a different question, but certainly they'd be impeachable offenses because even though they were committed before the president became president, they were committed in the service of fraudulently obtaining the office. That would be an impeachable offense.
Brexit could be close to a breaking point. CBS reporter Larry Miller from London.
British lawmakers are set to vote this week on the controversial Brexit deal negotiated by Prime Minister Theresa May with the EU, and all indications are it'll go down in flames. Even May's own Conservative Party is badly split. May's deal could see Britain tied to the EU forever, and that's hard for UK lawmakers to swallow. An overwhelming defeat in Parliament might lead to a vote of no confidence in May, and then Britain could be looking for a new leader. Larry Miller, CBS News, London.
Ralph, what is it you're trying to say?
We're going to the internet.
Ralph breaks the internet and the box office. The movie earned the top spot for the 3rd week with more than $16 million. This is CBS News.
Alright, so this is what I got. There's a couple things here. We can talk about Christmas lights and how long they're allowed for. I know we've talked about it before.
February 2nd, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I remember this.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter posts your job to over 100 job boards with just 1 click, and then their smart matching technology finds the right candidates. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/CBS News. It's time to join the millions of people using Zoom video conferencing. Turn any size conference room, huddle room, or executive office into a Zoom room with flawless HD video, crystal clear audio, and instant wireless sharing. It'll even work with your existing hardware. Start your meetings with a single touch, or use Zoom's new voice command feature. Hey Zoom, start meeting. Huddle happy. Visit Zoom.us to set up your free Zoom room trial today. That's Zoom.us. Zoom video.
There's a Florida couple that was sued
The Heisman Trophy is
because the city said that their Christmas decorations were too much.
Quarterback Kyler Murray, he's the winner of the Heisman Trophy. He actually replaced
Okay.
last year's Heisman winner on the field.
He said it was a public nuisance.
Hard, this past couple years has been for me, for you and my family, and through it all, you pushed me, kept me going, kept me focused. That courtesy of ESPN. Murray's next challenge is the Orange Bowl semifinal against Alabama on December 29th. Tom Fody, CBS News.
A musician provides a very Merry Christmas for hundreds. Kid Rock paid off all of the 350 layaway accounts at a Walmart in Nashville. That wasn't cheap. It cost him $81,000. The manager of the store Kid Rock said on Twitter he was following Tyler Perry's lead, who paid layoff balances at 2 Georgia Walmarts. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
From the studios of News 8, live, local, San Diego's talk and breaking news. This is AM 760.
Police are looking for a man who tried to break into a woman's home in Leucadia. That's one of the stories we're following on AM 760. The incident occurred Tuesday when Lexi Lindbergh heard someone knocking on her door. She says she confronted the suspect after he tried to wiggle through a doggy door and enter her house.
I started screaming at him, "What are you doing at my house? Get off my property. I'm coming for you." I grabbed a weapon to defend myself, and he saw me coming, and he bolted.
The man's image was captured by a doorbell camera. You can see it at CBS8.com. And the December Nights holiday celebration gets underway tonight at Balboa Park. We're sponsored by KeepSanDiegoMoving.com/BuildNCC. Build NCC and the Sandag iCommute program want you to know
A maximum of 50% of the exterior of a building may be comprised of reflective material that has a light reflectivity factor greater than 30%.
And whether it's
So there's
there
glare
at
regulations,
Lindbergh Field, in sports,
light regulations.
the Bengals later today in Carson. AM 760, talk and breaking news.
Order! Order in the court! AM 760 KFMB presents The Lawyer in Blue Jeans with legal expert lawyers Jeff and Justin Isaac and their honest...
Like that intro?
Welcome everybody, Jeff Isaac, the lawyer in blue jeans, talking law, life, and everything in between. I have attorney Justin Isaac with me as well, and I hope everybody had a good week and survived the rain showers, which is not usual here in San Diego. Nice and dry today, right, Just?
Luckily.
Yeah, nice day yesterday.
It was pretty bad during our seminars, though. I got soaked, and my
That's because you didn't have an umbrella.
That's true. But even with an umbrella, it was flooding out in El Cajon. It was flooding.
An umbrella doesn't help the flooding.
I know, unfortunately.
It helps getting wet.
My light brown shoes turned into dark brown shoes.
That's good.
But they're back now.
You need some of that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about, while we're talking about the seminars, we had an incredible turnout. There was a few less people on the last night because it was just thunder showers. What we have decided, and everybody needs to take note, this is really important. We are, for the first time ever in my career, because it's so important, we are doing an encore performance next Monday, a week from tomorrow, in El Cajon at 7 o'clock. Mark your calendars. We're going to have some fun stuff, some giveaways. We are going to go over our estate planning seminar because it's I know it's getting closer to Christmas, but give me an hour and a half, folks. An hour and a half. 7 o'clock the 17th, which is a week from tomorrow. Encore performance of the Lawyer in Blue Jeans presentations. And we're going to really make that a spectacular. So, we had really good turnout, really, for the rain. The last night was a little bit less, but there's some people that did miss the presentations because of the rain, so no excuses. It should be fine. And number two, those of you who couldn't make the other ones or have been just putting it off until, whenever, end of the year, this is huge. So El Cajon, go to lawyerinbluejeans.com. It should be on the site. And sign up for the encore presentation, and it's the end of the year, special kind of deal. We are going to really have some Black Friday specials. No, it's going to be cool. So, lawyerinbluejeans.com, Monday, the 17th at 7 p.m. in El Cajon at the Reagan Center. And it's just such a great forum over there. I just love that place. Okay, let's just go real quickly like we start the program generally with what happened last week. Well, we had the presentations and little rain as well, and all kinds of neat stuff. There was also stuff going on in the special counsel's office and the New York Southern District Court. Again, we stay out of politics as much as we can, but Brett Winterbull called me last week and wanted me to be on the show to talk more about what's going on in the Washington, D.C. and the Southern District. Well, we had two major filings. We had Paul Manafort and we had Cohen. Now, the frustrating thing for the public is that most of these filings, just like the Flynn filing a week ago, is significantly redacted. Redacted meaning black lines. You can't know what's going on. They're hiding stuff from us. Now, I think there's reasons for that. It's either a security interest, or it's sensitive to the public, or it's in a situation where there are more shoes to drop and they don't want to give those away.
Yeah, part of pending investigation.
Oh yeah. But what did we learn legally? We learned that the Trump Justice Department, all right, because these were in New York, in New York State. This is, and they basically Republicans have said in the memo for sentencing, especially with Cohen, that he the president coordinated and directed the payments to the two ladies that he allegedly had affairs with, or affairs with. So this has been obviously contradicted by the president, but Cohen, we knew, had said that before. But the Justice Department didn't just rely on him. I guarantee you that. This is not Cohen and the Justice Department just saying, yeah, he said it, therefore it's true. They have cooperation, all right? There's no doubt about it. We'll find out how much. But that's felonies, folks. Now, the good news, bad news for the president is that, you need more than just doing the paying. You have to have intent. You have to know that it was wrong. So he could say, although he said he never did it, and then he never knew about it, and then he said it did happen. There's all kinds of different statements. We don't know if he could say, I just didn't know. I've never been a politician. How would I know? It's my money. I can give as much as I want of my money, which is true. But what he can't do is he can't not disclose. And he didn't disclose any of this. You have to disclose all payments, even if it's as much as he did. So there's a lot of issues there that would put him as a co-conspirator in the as two felonies. They generally are not, the Justice Department doesn't push these things very often. And what's more, who knows? And I guess we're all tantalized by what might be still shoes to drop, because we've got Manafort, who coordinated with the Trump people, and that's what the Justice Department is going after him for sentencing. Cohen did too, by the way, for a while. So it's interesting because the federal government, the special prosecutor, is asking for some leniency on Cohen, and the Southern District of New York wants to throw the book at him. They're going after him. They're saying, yeah, he gets a teeny bit, but not much, because he was just a bad guy. And Mueller's office said, yeah, he's a bad guy, but he gave us some pretty good information. And you know what's really interesting, Justin, is that in those papers, and I think it was the Manafort papers, I'm not sure now, I get confused because they both came out the same day, is that the Justice Department has said that there was synergy between the Russians and the Trump campaign. Now the argument is synergy. Does that mean coordination and conspiracy and collusion? Well, the way I know synergy is 1 and 1 makes 3. This is where people work together to get a better purpose. That's what synergy to me is. I don't know what the legal definition is. Maybe you want to look it up, Just. But synergy is pretty obvious to me. If you get married to somebody and you both bring something to the table, a lot of people say that's a synergistic relationship. That's where we're just going to even be better than the sum of the parts. Synergy to me. Now, please, again, we don't want to go politics, but I'm just talking about the definition of law. Synergy is telling me that there's coordination going on. What else would it be? So we learned this last week. There's still a lot out there that's redacted, a lot out there that maybe is forthcoming. Is it enough to impeach? Be the call. I don't know. Legally, that's just not a legal term, impeachment. It really isn't. It's a political term. And there's no real standard for it. It's high crimes and misdemeanors. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, that
What
is
does
up
that
for
mean?
interpretation. But impeachment is a legal term when you're talking about a trial and impeaching a witness, and
but impeachment of the president is different than impeaching a witness.
Well, that's more of
That's a noun versus a verb.
Yeah, that's more of like a Congress and how our government kind of works.
Yeah,
it's not
but
necessarily
that's political.
Yeah, it's purely political. Synergism, it says, refers to a combination of known elements or functions that create a result which is greater than the sum of the individual elements or functions.
That's kind of what I said. Yeah, some of the
That was
parts.
your definition?
Well, I said some of the parts. So I mean, I don't know how else you can look at synergy other than you can't say that means one person worked by themselves. That's not synergy.
I think it's
two.
we are working towards something, and there's going to be maybe like a grand finale or something like that. But yeah, it is building to something, and it's interesting, and I want to.
I don't think you can have synergy with yourself. You have to have synergy with somebody else or
unless you have
something else.
Multiple personalities.
Like you?
I wouldn't say that, but if you got to work together.
So anyway, that's what happened last week. Next week, we never have enough to talk about. I do want to, before the break, I want to tell you that. So what do you call, Justin? What do you call a lawyer with an IQ of 100?
I don't know.
Your Honor. And what do you call a lawyer with an IQ of 50?
I don't know.
A senator. Lawyer jokes. We got a few of them today. Well, we'll be. You got any too? I probably heard them all, but there's some pretty fun ones out there. 1-800-760-KFMB. 1-800-760-5362. When we come back from the break, I want to talk first, and I know Justin's got some really cool stuff too, about some people you will not believe that did not have an estate plan. You're not going to believe some of the names out there. And we'll take a quick break, and then we will come back right after this.
760 KFMB.
Lawyer in Blue Jeans here, talking about law,
Can you
life,
turn that down a little bit?
everything in between. Check us out on Sundays.
What's your Facebook under? Is it Jeff at Lawyer in Blue Jeans?
Hell, I don't know. You keep asking me this. Oh, I didn't talk about Kelly leaving too. There's a lot of stuff. That's
See, the problem with this is that I've actually had a couple people tell me, like, on the Facebook and in person, that they don't really like the wrap up because they come to our show to not hear about it, like going to sports and hearing about politics.
Well, I like to. Well, then we go fun, but I like to define these things because I think that people. First of all, I feel that it's important for this country for people to understand what's going on.
Agreed.
And just legally, just to define synergy, define the felonies of campaign finance violations and all that. That's all. We only spent 7 minutes on it.
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't saying that was bad or anything.
But I'm just trying to stay out of politics, but it certainly overlaps. She got a phone call?
Yeah.
Larry. He'd probably argue with me about something. Santee. Oh, he must be a Berkshire. Trust question.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
Maybe that's Troy.
Oh, is he going to use a different name?
Yeah, I told him to use Escondido.
What does he care?
Oh, hey, they can hear us.
What?
They can hear us on Facebook Live. Whoops. David Reyno just messaged me about that.
Did you have to pay money to the bar to register?
I'm going to, yeah.
How much?
A couple $100.
Get ready. Nickel and diming time.
Oh, I've already seen it. It's everywhere. It's insane. This is maybe this isn't good that they can hear us on the Facebook Live. I don't know. Did we just cuss? Did anyone just cuss? Did I cuss? I don't remember. We did.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta do this before my stupid thing runs out of battery.
I have a charger.
Right here?
Yeah, I have a charger with me.
You got a charger. Is your plug here? Welcome back, everybody. Jeff Isaac. Well, let's do a microphone. How about that? It's the first time in a long time I started talking without using the microphone. That doesn't work very well. Welcome back, everybody. Jeff Isaac, the Lawyer in Blue Jeans with Justin Isaac, talking law and life and everything in between. And one more thing real quick. What's the difference between an accountant and a lawyer?
Accountant knows how to do math.
No, accountants know they're boring.
Oh.
I love these things.
Have you ever thought that you were boring? Has anyone ever said that you're boring?
Well, the one thing I said when I was a kid, and I remember this, and I'm not sure I've fulfilled it, is the two things I never want to be is bored or boring. Think about that. And I'm sure I violated that in the past, but it is what it is. So Rogers Nelson made headlines when his sister filed documents claiming that the person died without a will. You know who that is?
I do not actually.
Rogers Nelson is Prince. Prince Rogers Nelson.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He died without an estate plan, folks. And by the way, he's not the only one. Almost 70% of the American public die without an estate plan. And let me give you a few more. Now, we talked about what's coming up. Remember, next Monday, the encore performance. You got to be there for that. That's in El Cajon. Go to LawyerInBlueJeans.com. Let me give you some other names. Abraham Lincoln.
I know him.
Most famous lawyer in the time when he was president, 16th president. He didn't have one. Martin Luther King Jr. did not have an estate plan. Jimi Hendrix. Pablo Picasso. Howard Hughes had so much money, he just gave it all to the government, pretty much. Sonny Bono, before he ran into that tree in Big Bear. I think it was Big Bear. And, or maybe Tahoe, one of the two. Anyway, he didn't have an estate plan. James Brown. Michael Jackson didn't have one. Walt Disney didn't have one. Elvis Presley didn't have one.
Michael Jackson did have one.
Well, let's see. She initially filed the paperwork, the mother did, alleging there was no will or estate plan, and there was finally the will. According to this, a will was eventually discovered. I don't know if there was a trust or just a
There was I remember going over this in law school. Michael Jackson's, we were going over the pour over will. And I remember we were talking about this because, they initially people thought, oh, this is just a regular will. But then, they realized that, no, this is a will that works with your trust. It's a special will, which we talk about at our seminars all the time, too. But he had a trust from what I remember. But we just don't know about it.
Well, she couldn't find it for a while. That's another point. When you have one, you really need to. Now, one last one that I want to talk about, and then we'll get into some really other stuff, too. Because I want it to be a little more estate planning natured, because we are at the end of the year. We do have an encore performance next Monday in El Cajon. Leona Helmsley, one of the richest people in the world. And I'm sure she died, let's see, no, I'm not sure how old she was she died, but she left $12 million to her dog. And the dog's name was?
Snickers.
No, that's a candy bar.
I forgot the dog.
Trouble.
Trouble, yeah, that's what
Trouble in River City. $12 million Trouble got. Now, somehow the judge, even though it was through a trust, I don't understand this, but the judge somehow knocked it down to $2 million. there was some kind of small contest going on, and I'm not sure how that worked.
Probably by the residual beneficiaries, because once
Yeah.
the dog passed away, the trust money has to go somewhere.
Well, the dog lived to 12 years old, and basically there was her brother was in charge of taking care of Trouble. The two grandchildren received $5 million each, provided they visit their father's grave at least once a year. That's an interesting thing. You can put conditions. I don't know how you really judge that.
Well,
I wouldn't. I don't know how I'd write that trust up to say you have to visit your father's grave at least once a year. I guess you'd have to get.
Well, you have to
something.
get some kind of court supervision or some kind of supervision that would say that you actually did that, because if you violate it, then they lose it.
Well, it's interesting because Trouble got. They spent $100,000 a year on her care, including $8,000 for grooming and $1,200 for dog food. That doesn't seem that much. I bet you I spend that much for our dog. There was 20 to 30 death or kidnapping threats that people threatened to take Trouble. It sounds weird, huh? So the funds that were held in the trust did revert to the family trust after Trouble died, which supports charities and things like that. So I mean, you can leave, and we do this all the time in our office. You can leave gifts or money for your pets, and you know there's no reason you can't but you got to do it right, just like anything else. So you know, it's interesting how many people and how different people are when they approach an estate plan, because quite frankly, a lot of people and when I do these seminars, I always ask the audience how many have thought about coming in the past, because we've done so many over many years now, a decade, that it's amazing how many people raise their hand and say, I've been thinking about this, I just haven't done it. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One is that a lot of people don't think about dying, and other people think, yeah, someday I'll get it done. And they won't. They really won't. And if you don't, the consequences are dire. And I mean dire. Mm-hmm. You're going to the government. And the government, you have, basically intestate succession means that you don't have any control. The government's going to dictate by their formulas based on heirs and how direct those heirs are to you as to who gets what. That's just silly. Why would you do that and let the government have that much power? But you can't. We do have a call. Let's jump on that. Larry in Santee. Hey, Larry. How you doing? Larry, talk to me. Larry. I know, Larry. I heard you were Larry, but then I heard a lot of talk in the background. What's up? How you doing? It's okay. Good. Yeah, I hear that. Squeals.
Yeah, there's the standard of the law would be that your heirs would receive their inheritance at age 18, unless you said otherwise. Now, within your trust, you can create certain provisions and things like that will dictate when people can receive their inheritance, and also they must, sometimes they have to satisfy certain qualifications, kind of like we were just discussing. So, if we have a pretty common question in our office would be, I have some kids, I want them to graduate and receive the rest at age 30. So you can do something along the lines of a third of the estate gets distributed to them when they graduate college or turn 24, and then another third at age 27, and then the last part at age 30 if you'd like to. So yeah, you can dictate whatever you want into your trust, and they have to follow those guidelines.
And Larry, it doesn't have to be just age. It could be conditions. It could be schooling. It could be degrees. It could be performances. It could be not drinking for a period of time if you have drinking kids or drug addict. Yeah, there's so many ways to do these. It's just unlimited. As long as it's legal and ethical, a good estate planning lawyer can put this together for you, and you really retain control. You really, like if, let's say your kids have a drug problem, the last thing you want to do is give them your full inheritance at one shot. That'll probably kill them, just by, them shooting it up or whatever. So there's a lot of things you can do to kind of protect them, let alone, your own estate. So, we're going to be in your neighborhood. We're going to be in El Cajon a week from Monday. Have you been to a presentation that we've done? We'd love to. We'd love to have you. we're going to have fun and we're going to give some stuff away. We're going to have, it's kind of a last, like our own end of the year holiday party. And plus, it's about an hour and a half. Seriously, you'll learn so much. And, I'm really looking forward to it. In fact, this is going to be like a big Christmas present for everybody.
We just want to help with New Year's resolutions. We've had so many people at our seminars say how interested they were and how, they've been thinking about this for so long. And so with the last presentation, our goal is to help that many people because we had a lot of people who said they couldn't make it, didn't want to drive in the rain. So this is kind of our way of...
Well, and more than that, I think we're going to do some surprises. I have some things.
Am I going to be surprised too?
You can, well, unless I tell you about it.
Okay. Well,
so Larry, we'll see you there. Just go to LawyerandBlueJeans.com, sign up, and come and say hi to us, okay? All right. Have a good week. Okay. 1-800-760-KFMB, 1-800-760-5362. That's the way to do that. I'm going to take a break in a minute, but I got one more for you. Justin, how many lawyer jokes are there?
Millions.
No, there's only 3. The rest of them are true. True stories. We're going to, Justin and Jeff Isaac here talking law, life, and everything in between. Lawyer and Blue Jeans Encore seminar coming up a week from Monday. Go to LawyerandBlueJeans.com in El Cajon is where we're going to be. It's free. Take a quick break, and we'll come back on the other side. We're going to nail you with some stuff. Back right after this.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
So people said in the live stream that our audio isn't good and they couldn't hear the caller.
Really? All right, let me see what's up with that.
On 760 KFMB. And by the way, what I do and what we do in our law group is proactive law. Let's get the government out of our life and you be in charge of yours. We have seminars, one more set of seminars coming up in December, but if not, go to our office, check us out online at LawyerandBlueJeans.com, give us a call. We can talk about estate planning that will help you get control.
Snoring is usually a symptom of something that could be a lot more serious. Sleep apnea. It's when you stop breathing when you're sleeping, and you starve your brain of vital oxygen, and it puts you at a much higher risk for heart attack, diabetes, and high blood pressure, and a stroke. My dad had a stroke because of his sleep apnea, and that's why I went to go get checked out. And I have sleep apnea too, which is why I wear this mouth guard every night. Taking no chances. And my sleep apnea is gone, and my snoring is gone. So my wife's happy too. Doctor.
All right, what do you got?
I'm going to do one thing and then just a lawyer joke and then throw it to you.
I just have a couple things here.
You better.
Is
there another call coming in?
Yeah, it looks like it. So,
Chargers game is going to be good. Playing Cincinnati, I think they're going to get beat. Bet on that one.
So there was a couple things here.
Chargers favored by 14 or something. 10. Escondido. Oh, he's got a lawyer joke. People love that.
I got 2 words for you that could save you $1,000. Anchor funding. Property values are up, and many of us have equity in our homes that we can use, and now's the perfect time to use it. I'm here with my friend Kevin Lyons, president of Anchor Funding. Kevin, what do you got for us?
So this is the week where you're going to try to get everything in front of us, Justin.
Yeah, we're on live stream.
I know, but we got to get everything in front of us. Got a lot of stuff to do. And for everybody watching, that's what we're doing this week.
Call Kevin 1-800-333-5157, 1-800-333-5157, or anchorfunding.net. Results may vary, not a solicitation for legal service. If you owe the IRS back taxes, payroll taxes, or have not filed your return, the IRS will get you. They can take your property
How much you want to throw at the El Cajon? Another ad for that. A couple $100.
CBS News update. Not everyone is heeding the warnings of North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper to stay inside as a powerful snowstorm hits.
State Highway Patrol has responded to more than 500 crashes just since midnight.
The state's largest utility, Duke Energy, reports more than 220,000 power outages. WNCN-TV reporter Richard Essex is driving through the city of Roxborough.
We've been driving through some areas where you just don't see any lights on any of the houses, no street lights, no lights on the front porches or anything like that. So there appears to be some sporadic power outages up in this area, which is going to make the rest of this day even more difficult.
Duke Energy's Shauna Berger on what residents need to avoid.
Stay away from power lines that have fallen or are stacking energized, as well as any trees or limbs that they're in contact with.
The National Guard is helping to clear traffic accidents in North Carolina. CBS News update. I'm Wendy Gillette.
From the studios of News 8, live, local, San Diego's talk, breaking news. This is AM 760.
A man is facing allegations of trying to smuggle more than a half-ton of drugs into the U.S. That's one of the stories we're following on AM 760. Randy Fuller has details.
Police say they arrested Mexico resident Jose Aviles Cordero at the Calexico East Commercial Port of Entry. They say he pulled up in a truck with what appeared to be an empty trailer, but border agents found more than 1,000 pounds of methamphetamine, heroin, and cocaine hidden in packages inside. He could get life behind bars if convicted.
A new San Diego City Council president could be named tomorrow, and the Art of the Holiday exhibition is underway at the Fallbrook Art Center. We're sponsored by your Always Sunny San Diego Honda dealers. Your Always Sunny San Diego Honda dealers bring joy to San Diego with the best gifts of the season. 'Tis the season for the Happy Honda Days sales event. For sale details, visit sdhondadealers.com. In weather, it's fair and 62 at Lindbergh Field. In sports, the Chargers host the Cincinnati Bengals later today at StubHub Center in Carson. AM 760, talk and breaking news.
Now back to the Lawyer in Blue Jeans on AM 760 KFMB.
Welcome back, everybody. Jeff Isaac, the Lawyer in Blue Jeans, talking law, life, and everything in between. We have Justin Isaac with us as well. And one more for you, Justin. I'm in this jokey mood today. What do you get when you cross the Godfather with a lawyer? See, I get to get you every time because you have
I don't know.
an offer you can't understand.
That's good too.
I like these. Hey, somebody else has one. It looks like Sheldon in Escondido. Sheldon, good morning. How are you? I'm glad to hear it. What you got? Are we going to get dirty here, Sheldon? Do we need to? All right. No, I don't. Okay. So a postage stamp and a woman lawyer. Go ahead. Tell me. I have no idea. Okay. Female. That's true. Okay. Sheldon, that's, thank you. Hey, you're all the way in Escondido. Did you come to our presentation last week? I see. Should I send a limo for you for the El Cajon big event a week from tomorrow? Let me think about that. But if not, maybe you can find some wheels and come out because we're going to have a good time. It's going to be an encore presentation in El Cajon Monday night, a week from tomorrow night. So it's going to be some fun stuff. Yeah. Oh, then you're right. Okay, so
Not too far.
yeah, and the Reagan Center is right down the street, right off the 8 as well. So maybe we can get you to pop over at 7 o'clock a week from Monday. Oh, I'd love to see you. Sheldon, thanks for calling, and tell your friends to keep listening, okay? Have a good week. All right, Sheldon, thanks. You too. 1-800-760-KFM. You know, I love our callers. You know, I really do. Almost never have we had a caller that was hostile. I mean, it just doesn't happen.
Well, I don't really think we talk about it enough to...
Well, we could. I mean, just because we are lawyers and we open our mouth, that some people think that's hostile.
Yeah, actually, that's true, because people are naturally hostile when you tell them you're an attorney sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
But, I mean, it all depends, I guess.
Yeah.
If it's just meeting them on the streets, they're going to form an opinion about you, but hopefully we don't really give off that kind of air, but I don't know.
So if you see a lawyer on a bicycle, why don't you swerve to hit him?
Why don't I swerve?
Why don't you swerve to hit him? Because it might be your bicycle. I love that. People think that lawyers hate us because of this, but you know, I know we get a lot of lawyers listening to the show. I certainly know we get a lot of judges as well. And, you know, this is all in light. I mean, it's no different than any other kind of jokes. You know, you could replace this with, remember the old-fashioned Polish jokes, which are politically, I guess, incorrect nowadays, but whatever. Yeah. You know, I just think if you can't laugh at yourself, then what the heck? You know, you might as well die now.
I think my first Polish joke I ever heard was from my grandfather, who was Polish.
It was very Polish.
And he loved those jokes.
No, and so do I. I mean, as lawyers, I think, now, you know, I mean, the bottom line is, I guess people could say, well, if you say it enough, people will think that these are true. You know, it's almost like, you know, the more you say something, the more people are likely to believe it. But come on. You know, if you can't have some fun, but, you know.
So, speaking of having some fun, I have something for you. Do you know what a gender reveal is? Have you heard of this before?
A gender reveal?
Yes.
Is that with the new politically correct description of kind of what gender or not you are?
No. You know, you're not too far off, though. A gender reveal is when two parents who are expecting a child get together in some crazy way will show everyone what they're having, a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
Now, people are going over the top to try and beat the other person. You know, you've heard of Pinterest? Have you heard of Pinterest?
Yeah.
Okay. And Instagram and Facebook. Everyone is trying to beat out one another. And so I saw a couple of, well, there was one that I'm going to talk about, but there was a couple of interesting gender reveals where they had like an alligator and they threw in a watermelon that had colored, you know, material in there, and the alligator chomped the watermelon and it showed up like blue and stuff like that. Weird kind of over the top ways to try and reveal it. But recently, a guy in Arizona who's a border patrol agent, I believe, did something where I think he like shot a box full of explosives that had either pink or blue in it, and it started a huge fire. And it caused, I think it was like $8 million in damages. And so he came out right away, you know, fair play to him. He came out right away and admitted it, and he has to do like a PSA, and he owes a bunch of money for restitution. But I just thought, you know, that's a very interesting kind of realm we're going into nowadays, where people try and top the other person for social media likes and attention and trying to go viral, and look what it's causing now. You know, we're having fires, there's all kinds of there was like a fight in an Applebee's where a bunch of people were assaulted. Some of the staff was assaulted by the people who were doing the gender reveal because they tried to do it in the middle of the restaurant, and, you know, they're being rambunctious. And, you know, I thought it was interesting, though.
I think we make too much of too little, and at the same time, I think it's because of insecurity. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
People are so insecure; they gotta up the other,
yep.
And that's going to prove their masculinity or their power or greed or whatever it might be.
But they want the social media points. They want these, you know, they all they want is some kind of recognition for some reason that they.
That's insecurity.
Oh, of course, 100% agree. It's pretty.
The person that never asks for recognition are, to me, the most have the most integrity of you know, people in general, because they really do. I remember I have a good friend who's still one of the few that's still alive, who he would be doing Meals on Wheels, and he did some other charity stuff, but he would never talk about it.
Yeah.
So when people when they do something nice and they have to tell everybody they've done it nice, compare and contrast that to the people who just do it anonymously. They don't have to worry about their security. They just are good people. Not to say that the others aren't good people. I think they intend well, but they're in most cases insecure. They just want that pat on the back because they don't feel they're good enough.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like that. I think that most people are going. They want the recognition. They're going to give the charity, but they want to make sure everybody knows it.
Yeah.
And there's very few people that just do it and don't breathe a word.
But
about it.
you know what you could also say is that even though they're looking for the recognition, and I'm not arguing this point, but I'm just saying that even though they're looking for the recognition, they're still doing some kind of charitable work.
Yeah,
so
there's
it's
nothing wrong
better
with
than
it.
nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, and that's why Jerry Lewis with the old
telephone.
The telephones. I
Yeah.
used to watch them every year, and I'd cry, and I even was a kid, and we would send in a couple bucks or whatever. But you know, and he did a lot of thankful. I was going to say thankless, but people did. You know, he did a lot of stuff behind the scenes too. I mean, he was definitely that telethon was crazy. But then mysteriously it went away, and there was a lot of controversy about what happened. You know, with that. But I guess that's another story.
I don't remember that.
So before the break, he all of a sudden they took the carpet. They pulled it under his feet. You know, he was doing this religiously for years and decades, and then all of a sudden it just went away, and there was some animosity going on. I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but there was something, and that's sad. And I got to see Jerry Lewis right before he died, actually, in Vegas. It was interesting. It was kind of sad because he wasn't up to par.
He wasn't on top of his game.
Well, no. I saw him also when he was on top of his game on a cruise ship. That was amazing. That guy was so funny. Anyway, we're going to take a break. Before we do, one more thing. What do you call a smiling, sober, courteous person at a bar association convention?
Not an attorney?
Well, you're close. The caterer.
Yeah, I was going to say the caterer.
There you go. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Remember, a week from tomorrow, the encore performance of the Lawyer in Blue Jeans presentation at El Cajon in the Reagan Center.
Reagan Library.
At Reagan Library. Well, not the library. It's across from it.
But it's at that location.
And 7 o'clock, lawyerinbluejeans.com. Go there. We're going to have some fun stuff and giveaways and good information. Take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
We're slated to be slammed with higher interest rates twice more
Can you
this
turn
year.
that down a bit?
Home values are at an all-time high, but experts say
Rachel's yelling at me because she wrote down all these details on that fire thing. She's like, where's the details? 200 homes were threatened or something like that. But we're adjusting now.
All right, you got anything else?
Yeah, I do.
All right, because you're on the two right.
I got Christmas light stuff.
I'm going to do that. We only have about 4 or 5 minutes. Here's your charger before I forget. Sleep tracker. How did I sleep last night? 71 sleep score.
Is that good? That's a C. That's not even passing. Or barely passing.
That's not bad. I'm in the 92% efficiency. REM sleep, 2 hours and 18 minutes. Light sleep, 5 hours and 17. Deep sleep, just 25 minutes. 3 wake ups. I got 8 hours total sleep.
Not bad.
That helps pay for checkups right away. So you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures.
Do you want to do outdoor lighting regulations? Or do you want to make that a part of the show next week?
I don't care.
Because I don't
We're
want
not going to have a lot of time.
Yeah, so let's do the other one where a vendor has to or a vendor sued a couple for a false statements about her.
Okay.
Hey Justin, I was told that the audio basically was kind of just sound like background noise. Couldn't really hear our mics that well or something.
That's really weird because it's supposed to be I have it set to be fed by the same stuff that feeds the air. So I don't know why it would sound like that. That's really bizarre. I'm going to file what we call an E-report to have engineering look at it and see what the issue is.
Okay, is it because we're not like talking into the microphones, or?
No, that shouldn't make a difference. I mean, because it's the exact same feed that's going over the air. So the air sounds fine, so I don't see why that one sounds different. And when they first made mention of it, it was a different feed, but that shouldn't have made a difference. So then I switched it to make sure it was the air one. And now if it still sounds like that, then it sounds like something else is amiss.
Well, let me ask my friend who's watching right now, and I'll see if he says that's still the case.
I'm gonna bring it up too on my Facebook and see what I'm hearing and see what I can mess with.
Give us a like while you're at it too, please.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
You think someone bought you a Lexus?
I thought we had a $10 gift limit.
Well, someone went to Lexus Carlsbad and Lexus Escondido. You know they have twice the selection of new Lexuses in San Diego County.
Lexus is not a word.
Martha, Lexus is too a word. I'm gonna go take a selfie with my new Lexus.
I probably should tell him that's my new Lexus from Lexus Carlsbad and Lexus Escondido.
Hi, everybody. Gee, I wonder what he's really getting up.
Lilac scented soap on the roof.
I got a new Lexus.
Probably gonna be a bit disappointed.
Woohoo!
Save today on the largest selection of Lexus ES, NX, and RX models at Lexus Carlsbad and Lexus Escondido. See specials online at LexusCarlsbad.com or LexusEscondido.com.
AM 760 KFMB. Now back to the Lawyer in Blue Jeans on AM 760 KFMB.
Welcome back, everybody. Jeff Isaac, the Lawyer in Blue Jeans, talking law, life, and everything in between. Figure that one out, folks. That's the lawyer's language all the way. Life, law, and everything in between. Well, yeah, whatever. One more joke, last joke for the day. Why is it that many lawyers have broken noses, Justin?
Because you get the book thrown at him?
No, that's not bad.
Thanks.
From chasing parked ambulances.
That's good.
I think that's great. They used to call me an ambulance chaser when I was doing personal injury law, but I never chased an ambulance. I just followed them. No. All right. So again, real quick, and then I know you got something. Monday, and I know people are trying to scramble and write it down and remember it, but do it right now. Mondays are a week from tomorrow, the 17th, in El Cajon at 7 p.m. sharp. We are doing an encore seasons ending New Year's kind of presentation, which is going to be full of surprises, some fun stuff, some giveaways, and information that will save your family from the government. I promise you. And so sign up, go to LawyerInBlueJeans.com. We want to see you there. It's a big deal. All right. So we can't wait to see you. What do you got, Justin?
I came across something the other day where, as you know, Rachel and I are getting married in July, and we were looking at some interesting cases that involve weddings. And there was a case that came out a few years ago where a wedding photographer was suing, or is suing, basically a couple. And the whole basis of the fight, the issue at hand, was that in plain writing on their contract, it said that they didn't include some $125 scrapbook or something like that. And the couple wouldn't pay for their services unless they got that. So, and they accused the other photographer of holding their photos hostage from their wedding because they wouldn't pay that extra $125, which it clearly stated in the contract. So the couple instead went on a smear campaign and went on the news and went all over social media and said all these defamatory things. They got sued for defamation and civil conspiracy, which I thought was pretty interesting too. It doesn't really go into that too much, but the photographer won, and I think she won over $1 million from this suit because all they were trying to do was just take her down, because a simple disagreement over $125. I thought that was pretty amazing.
Wouldn't that be in law called a material versus a immaterial breach?
Yes, but I think that what the couple did is the basis for the suit. So they could have sued and they could have brought that to court, but instead they went on their own and did all these other things.
Defamatory.
Yeah, they defamed her.
Well, is it defamed if no? Wait a minute. The truth is a defense to that.
Yes.
So if they went over and beyond the truth, boom, they get nailed.
Yeah.
If they said, "Hey, I signed up with this wedding photographer, and he or she did not deliver," which would be true.
And subjective.
Not subjective if it was in the contract. So if it were, hey, no, listen to me. If it were, this was part of the agreement that they would get this scrapbook, and they didn't get it, there's nothing defamatory about saying, hey, they didn't perform everything.
100% agree, but that was in the contract that they weren't going to get that. That was never something that they were allowed to do.
Okay, well then they're making stuff up.
Exactly, and that's
and that would be defaming.
Yeah.
And that $1 million. Whee.
Yeah, because they were they were all over the place and saying
destroys the reputation
yeah.
of the photographer.
Yeah, and they were out on like a vengeance. They were making up all these things and like encouraging other people to do the same thing. So I thought that was a pretty significant judgment for what started with just $150 or so. $125, I think.
$125 goes to $1 million on the other side.
But that's what, you know what, it goes to show you that kind of what you've talked about in the past. Why don't we just talk this out? Instead, they took it into their own hands and they went and tried to do all these, they tried to get their vengeance instead of trying to get their money.
That's what people do. And
that's pretty sad to say, and they tried to ruin this girl's career. I thought that was pretty wrong. I don't know if it's $1 million wrong. That's a lot of money. But I found it to be pretty interesting.
Well, the problem with our law system, and it's just any law system, I guess, is vengeance is a driver of lawsuits where common sense and legal principles should be. People get emotional and then they get so wrapped up, they go, I don't care if that lawyer's charging $400 an hour, I'm going after you. How many times in my law career, when I did divorce law, the first part of it, my career, people would spend, at that time it wasn't $400 an hour, it was maybe $50 to $100 an hour for attorneys to fight over ashtrays and to fight over the smallest incremental stuff, let alone the fight over children and the scarring that occurs there. It's just sad. And you know, I guess we're human beings, so you can't take the emotion out of us, because once that happens, we're not, you know, human beings anymore. But you can control it, and unfortunately, a lot of people just look at law as a way to get back at people, and the attorneys are the instruments that orchestrate that vengeance. But it's pretty, you know, the attorney can bow out if they see that it's not meritable. Unfortunately, most attorneys don't. They see green. You know, when people get in divorce see red, attorneys see green. There's a statement for you right there. All right, Encore Performance. Guys, I cannot tell you how excited I am about that. Next Monday, a week from tomorrow, in El Cajon at the Reagan Library Center there. And at 7 o'clock, go to lawyerinbluejeans.com. It's free. We're going to have some surprises for people. I mean it. We're going to have some neat stuff, some giveaways, maybe some restaurant certificates. I'm thinking some fun stuff. And then more importantly, end the year right. Take the government out of your life and be organized and take care of your family. That's what we'll be talking about. Just go to lawyerinbluejeans.com. You'll be cool. We're good to go. See everybody then. I went over. Yep. Didn't even see it. Sorry, Justin, I went over. I didn't even see the clock.
Oh, no, that's all right. I'll make it work.
All right. I gotta go work in the house. Chris and I put up a whole fence on all around that backyard yesterday.
Who did?
Chris Paul.
Oh, good.
I gotta get
Last words?
last words. See you Monday. A week from Monday.